Here we go. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Show. South Florida #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show, all about the topic of real estate. My name is Eric Willner, and I am your host, your faithful host, who's been here now for 22 consecutive years, through good times and through bad times. The Real Estate Show has been bringing you good information, good guidance, good tips, and some good advice along the way as well. No, through good times and bad times, I think we've been sort of the guardrails, keeping investors from making mistakes and leading home buyers to really good deals. We are heard live Monday through Friday right here on our original AM 1470 station here on WWNN. You can hear us also on the FM dial at 96.9 FM, 95.3 FM. And you can also take us with you on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the Spreaker app, and a whole bunch of other free apps that you can download on your smart device. Plug it in and look for 1470 WWNN, and you will land right here and listen to us live. That's live at 5 days a week. And you can also catch us, don't forget about our Sunday marathon. Our Sunday evening marathon, where you can get all of our shows back to back starting at 9 p.m. right here where you're listening to us now. Now, one other original and favorite place that you can hear us is on our website, which is automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Just go to the top of the page. Click on the Listen Live button if you're here live at 5 or during our Sunday night 9 p.m. radio show marathon, or you can listen to the replays. All of our replays are up there at automaticlandlord.com. All of our replays are also on our Facebook page, and we are broadcasting this show live also on Facebook. So if you want to get an alert so that you know that we're coming on every day. And it's a great way to kind of set an indirect alarm clock. Go to Facebook. If you have a Facebook account, just look for The Real Estate Show and you'll see our logo, our videos there. If you don't have a Facebook page, it'll still work. Just go to go to the facebook.com/The Real Estate Show, and then follow us on Facebook. Add to our followers, our nearly 10,000 followers, and then you can listen to the show. It'll send you an alert that you are about to miss the Real Estate Show coming on live at 5 weekdays, 9 p.m. on Sundays. So we got a great show for you today. TGIF, as I always like to say, TGIF to the third power. TGIF because it is Friday, and Friday, as you know, thank God it's Friday. Everybody loves this day. And it's also, thank God, it's Florida, where we're transmitting by. But as you can tell by the long sleeve shirt that I've got on today, that it was a bit cool last night. It went down into the 50s as we woke up this morning. And so when I went out this morning, I had to dust off some of the winter wardrobe, which I haven't worn in a while because I haven't even traveled to anywhere where it gets cold in almost a year. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of COVID, so we'll have to note that event when it happens. But so it's TGIF, it's Friday. Thank God it's Florida. There's my buddy Jordan. And thank God it is finished for the week.
Hi.
So here we are. Everybody's back. And we got now coming to the final stretch here of our week. We had a very busy week here on the Real Estate Show. As you know, if you're a regular listener, you already know that in addition to our 6 shows, or actually it's a lot more than 6 when you think about the marathon, our 6 days of shows, we also have several days of free workshops dedicated specifically to the listeners of the Real Estate Show. We can't cover everything, even on all the time that we're on the air, because we want to go deep in some areas. For example, on Mondays, we have our equity workshop. And this is equity from a lot of perspective. This is equity from the perspective of how do I pay down debt that is in the way of creating equity? How do I accelerate the growth of my equity in the properties and the assets that I have. And so we have a workshop dedicated specifically to that every Monday night at 9 p.m. And the topic does vary a little bit because there's so many different aspects to go into. So you definitely would want to bookmark that and put a little alarm for that as well. If you would like an invitation, it is by invitation only to our listeners. The way to get that invitation, you're going to want to jot this down, write down the phone number 561-861-2366. Once again, that's 561-861-2366. Text the word equity, and we will automatically send you the link and the invitation to that workshop. Space available. Last week we had a full house on that one. Then on Tuesdays, we have our credit accelerator workshop. Now, whether you need to create it, build it, fix it, or perfect it, when it comes to the topic of credit, I'm going to tell you that we are on the cutting edge. In fact, you can't have a great real estate business and not be very on top of folks' credit. And see, here's the interesting thing I think about our show. People say, is this show for the home buyer or is this show for the investor? And the answer is first and foremost, because our mission here on the Real Estate Show is to educate and empower more Americans to own real estate, right? That's it. Not American investors, but Americans who want to own a piece of the American dream, own a little bit of real estate. We're here for you. That's our mission. And so if you're a homeowner, if you've never been a homeowner and you want to be one, you're in the right place. You're listening to the right show, because we're going to show you why there is no excuse left. If you can afford to rent an apartment, if you're independently renting an apartment right now, I can show you how to independently rent independently own a home very soon. Okay. If you're coachable and cooperative, that's all I need, because if it's down payment, I got you covered. If it's the credit, I got you covered. If it's the how to present yourself to the bank in a better way that before, maybe you didn't do a good job presenting yourself to the bank. Maybe you just didn't highlight the right things, or maybe accidentally said the wrong things. If it's the mortgage, we got you covered. So no matter what it is, if you're serious about owning a home, this is the year. As I mentioned, I love first-time home buyers in particular. And as an investor, as a landlord, as a seller of real estate from time to time, I love first-time home buyers because they're a great client to have. They will pay good retail price for the opportunity to own their home. And so it behooves all landlords out there to also love first-time homeowners and work with us if you want to. And we'll show you how, when it's time to sell, make a dream come true for a first-time homeowner. So our mission, and here we are today, January 29th, 2021. We are now wrapping up round one of a 12-round battle known as 2021. How did you fare in last year's bout? How did you do for the 12 months? Did you win? Did you win more than you lost? Or were you a knockout champion, or were you just a knockout? This is 2021. It's time. The scorecards are all brand new, but here we go. We're now at the end of round one. Now, a lot of fighters out there, and I love a good fight. I'm a big fan of the martial arts, and a lot of fighters strategically measure the environment. They kind of measure the ring, they measure their opponents, and they don't do a lot in the first round. If that's you, but if you're engaged, that's the difference. If you just suddenly realize that Eric said it's 12 rounds and one is done, I didn't realize that January was already over. For all intents and purposes, this is the last business day. This is the last hour. In fact, depending on where you are in the country, on the East Coast, the last hour just passed. If you're in the middle central zone, you've got now 45 more minutes of the last day of the first month. If you're on the West Coast, where you're lucky, you got 2 more hours to get something done if you haven't done something. But round one is up. How did you do? If you're measuring, good for you, and I hope you're doing something. I'll tell you, and I'm very happy, I declared on the first of this year that we were going to make 100 people first-time home buyers. We're going to make their dreams come true. And in response to the conversations that we have as a result of our radio show, in response to the work that we've done, developing down payment assistance programs, finding grant money to our response has exceeded our first month expectations. And so we are on track. And I believe that we will be ahead of track when it comes to this year. So I'm very excited about that. If you're one of those people, for example, and you've heard us talking about this, and we're going to cover the high points of each one of this week's day's events. On Monday, we set the groundwork, and we told you that we're going to start talking more and more about the path to home ownership. And if you want to learn, if you missed any of those and you want to learn the path to your first home, then type in the word path and text it to 561-861-2366. We've got the resources for you, and we're going to show you exactly how to do it no matter where you are, whether you have good credit, no credit, or bad credit, whether you have a great down payment, an average down payment, or no down payment. Whatever your situation is, like I said, if you can show me that you can afford to rent where you are, I can show you how to own where you are for maybe less. And that's what you want to, if it's credit that's on your mind, type the word credit to 561-861-2366. That's all the word. Just type the word credit, type the word path, or type the word or the letters DPA. If down payment is your only obstacle, I got you covered. I will get you covered. DPA 561-861-2366. Go ahead and do that right now, because I'm going to continue on with the radio show. That's all automated, automatic landlord style. Anyway, before I get into the week's agenda and tell you a little bit about what we're going to do next week, we're going to take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors, so don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show, and my name is Eric Willner, and I will be right back. Keep one in just so that I don't lose track of the time. But hey, Brian, how are you doing over there? Erica over there, and Erica over there. Simone is there. Felipe is there. I'm glad you enjoyed last night. And we do that every Thursday night, the big table. And that group has been growing, and it will continue to grow until we don't have enough room, and then we'll probably kind of close that group off, and we'll see what we do from there. So how was your week? How's everybody else's week out there? Stage show. It's talking about the YouTube or the Facebook page. I need to find somebody good at YouTube to help me out with that channel, because that's our next project. Facebook.com/The Real Estate Show, and give us a thumbs up. This is The Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One LLC. Ooh, we got to change that, huh? You guys, nobody's caught that change. Hey, Felipe. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on The Real Estate Show, my name is Eric Willner. I'm your host. You are listening to America's longest running daily radio show. And I dare say that if it's America's longest running daily radio show, that it's probably the world's longest daily radio show. And, our whole mission here is to help folks with their real estate. We started out by making a very simple and safe approach to buying income producing real estate. And I see that the radio station is trying to call me, but I hope, I don't know if that's you, Dan, but the whole purpose here is to share more ideas, more avenues, and make real estate more accessible. Real estate is by far and it's certainly, in my opinion, way by far the best investment vehicle out there. More millionaires have been created through real estate. More people's dreams have been realized by real estate. And there is a simple and safe approach to buying real estate, whether it be for your own use, whether it be for your investment purposes. You can't build a retirement easier or faster than through real estate. In fact, I have over the years and over the courses spoken about how people can, if they were to buy real estate starting when they graduated from high school or college, they're going to rent anyway, right? And for the same price as it would cost to rent, they could have owned. And by following my simple and safe approach to buying real estate, whether you're a school teacher, a fireman, a policeman, an engineer, an astronaut, I don't care what it is, do what you do with a passion, but simply buy one new house once every 5 years. It was the example that I use. And then when I think about it, I was way too conservative. But nevertheless, I showed how no matter what your career path was, no matter what you did, you could retire a millionaire with 10 times what Social Security pays. That's right, 10 times what Social Security pays. And so you're going to retire. At some point, you're going to turn 65 one way or another. Now, you could choose to retire a guaranteed millionaire, or you could choose to retire on Social Security. You tell me which one you prefer. I know the answer, but most people think that simply by expecting it to happen, it happens. And the old definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting something different to happen. I always like to say that progress is not possible without change and a little bit of getting out of your comfort zone. And so if you want to have more of a conversation about that and want to set up a private one-on-one appointment, type the word discovery to 561-861-2366, the word discovery, and we'll set up a one-on-one conversation to have a phone call. You could also go on our Facebook page where we're transmitting live right now, and at the top right side of the screen, you'll see it says book an appointment, and you can actually book it, and it will show up on my calendar every day. You can also book an appointment on our automatic landlord page. So at automaticlandlord.com, which, by the way, is a wealth of information, resources, schedules, reports, and you name it, it's all up there. There isn't one place where you can get more free information along with the daily radio show. There's nothing else like that out there. And like I said, through good times and bad times, there's a reason why we're still here, we're still live, and we're still going on, not only surviving, but thriving. And that brings us to what we were talking about during the week. Monday, we always set up the agenda for the week. And Monday's show is sort of setting the groundwork, and we were talking about the path to home ownership. And that's what we said this entire week would focus around. Now, each day of the week, for example, Tuesday, which is our tools, tips, and techniques, that's where we get down into the nitty-gritty and share the various tools and techniques that we're using. And Tuesday in particular, we talked about that one of the biggest obstacles that we have seen in the last few years for people getting into real estate, because we do have a shortage of inventory. We do have a lot of competition for the inventory that exists. We do have extremely record-breaking low interest rates right now, making it easy for it, but there's a lot of competition out there. And one of the most widely cited obstacles has been that the debt that they already had, they had credit card debt, they had student loan debt, which is a biggie. And we started talking about the automatic landlord's debt solution. And this is something where I train a lot of tenants on how to get out of debt so they can buy. I train a lot of landlords how to get out of debt so they have more equity. As you can see, this is our conversation on our Monday night workshops. But we got into, on Tuesday, a little bit of the concepts of how that works. And I suffice it to say that it doesn't matter what kind of debt you have, because these are fundamental, I should say, these are universal debt laws that we have, and we can teach you on how to get rid of debt, how to, first of all, how to have it in the first place. But when you do want to have it, there's there's good positive leverage that you use when buying real estate and buying assets that appreciate in value. Very different than swiping your credit card, buying an ice cream cone. The ice cream cone is gone, but then the debt stays on there long after the ice cream is melted. So you've got to know when to use debt, when to use cash, and how to apply the cash flow to both of those so that you pay off the debts faster than they can be created, and therefore eliminating them. It's kind of like burning more calories than you take in, you lose weight. Take in more calories than you burn, you gain weight. And therein is the simple solution to the age-old problem. So Tuesday, we talked about the practical things to do in reducing and eliminating your debt. You can listen to any one of these shows. If you missed the show and want to go into the details, go to our automatic landlord and check out Tuesday's show, or sign up for this coming Monday's Equity Accelerator Workshop. Type the word equity to 561-861-2366. That's our real estate show smart number. You can send the text there, the report and the invitation will come to you. Now, on Wednesday was our midweek report. Now, this was a very interesting midweek report. In fact, I always love our midweek reports. It always keeps us up to date on what's going on, not only in the real estate market, but also in the general market. And we were talking about how we were talking about the relief. There's a lot of incentives that are going to be pro real estate in terms of the tax credit for down payment money for first-time home buyers. Not approved yet, but if you want to be on the front edge and you want to get the latest updates about down payment assistance, grant programs, down payment loans, gift arrangements, you name it, there's a whole specialty right in there. And if you type in the word DPA, the letter DPA, to 561-861-2366, then you can get information about that. And like I said, the down payment is no longer your excuse why you can't buy real estate. It is not your excuse, or it may be your excuse, but it's not a real excuse. And I want to help you to overcome that. We talked about the situation of debt and how in the marketplace that is probably one of the biggest obstacles, because if you have too much debt, when you go to apply to a bank, they look at something called your debt to income ratio. In other words, what are your monthly debt payments in relationship to your income? The first one, and they look at two particular ones. The first one is, how much will your mortgage payment be in relationship to your gross income? Now, you can get about 1/3 of your income in terms of a monthly housing payment. About 1/3. There's different programs that are a little bit less. There's different programs that are a little bit more. But think of it in terms of 1/3. That's why you can qualify for roughly 3 times what you make per year. So if you make $100,000 a year, you qualify for at least a $300,000 mortgage. So the second debt to income ratio that a bank will look at is your total debt. So add your mortgage plus your credit card payments plus your car payments, etc. Those can also not exceed more than half of what your income is, and it's a little bit less than that. That was our Tuesday, Wednesday, where we talked about the low rates that we have that are even lower. We just did a 2.25% on a 15-year fixed rate. The growing demand we talked about the growing resources being the money for the down payments that are coming out, new programs, the credit. We actually increased our ability to fix credit in as little as 30 days, while in a mortgage application, a little bit longer for more severe things. And then, of course, Thursday, we talked about the big table, the big real estate ladder, the steps, the different approaches to buying real estate and how to finance that. That was our ATM Thursday show. Anyway, The music's coming in faster than I even expected. That means I'm out of time. It's time to go celebrate the weekend. So it's time to close down this show as well. But we'll be back, same place, same schedule next week for a brand new week. We're going to be talking a lot about these first-time homebuyer programs that are in fact increasing their limits on how much. This is not for low-income housing anymore. This is for many different things. So until then, this is Eric Willner signing off. Drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Thank you, Dan. You have a good week.